Hello and welcome. In this video today, we are going to be talking about the Gemini full moon that is happening on December 4th. It's around like 4:30ish p.m. depending on what time zone you're in. I am in Pacific Standard Time, so that's where I'm going to be reading this information from. This is a very interesting full moon, and I'm really excited to dive into it. Before we jump into it, a couple of housekeeping things just to keep you guys in the loop of what I'm doing. For the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'm going to be having sales, so stay updated with my newsletter, which is linked down below. I don't do sales often because the nature of what I do is very deep and very powerful, so this is rare. So if you've been feeling called to get a reading from me of astrology readings, oracle readings, do some coaching, embodiment, I do a lot of stuff. I'm pretty freaking cool. So if you've been feeling that call, all of that's going to be linked down below. And something that I've been asking via TikTok, and some of you may know me from my TikTok, 8th House Mercury. That's where a lot of my traction comes from. I have been asking people very kindly if my videos have impacted you in any way, whether that's just me sharing the astrology and it showing up in your life and touching you deeply in profound ways. I've been asking people to subscribe here. I'm challenging myself. We'll see if it happens. Why not? To get to 1,000 followers. Subscribers? Yeah, that's the word for YouTube, right? Subscribers here on YouTube. So following and sharing my content and commenting will allow it to get out to other people who will resonate and enjoy it as well. So everything counts. So subscribing and subscribing to my newsletter, Letters from the 8th House. It's where I channel these upcoming transits. It comes to your inbox every Monday to guide you through the week ahead. I'm going to be honest. My language with astrology, I feel like has been slowly shifting, and now my mind is catching up to it. Shout out to Mercury retrograde. I feel like that's a lot of the processing that's been occurring for me, is this deeper revelation that my astrology pathway is leaning more towards intuitive astrology, meaning I know all of this stuff so deeply that when I get into a state of talking about it, it's less from a logical space and more intuitively based. So you guys will see that as we continue to dive into this full moon chart. I'm looking at the chart for like maybe the second time. I sit presently with the energy with you guys and talk about it. That's how I do things. And I know we're almost 3 minutes into this video, so thank you for listening to all the information. This is going to be a lot of information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So grab some tea, grab a snack, sit down, get cozy. Maybe I'm the background of your cooking, your drive to work, wherever I am. Let me know what you're up to, what you're doing. I'm like thinking, is there anything else I need to share with you guys? I feel, oh yeah. Please listen to the first part before you jump into your rising sign. Everything that I share at the beginning kind of is the prelude to how it affects you. So all this information that I'm going to be sharing. Yeah. So, okay. Full moon. Let's kind of break down a full moon. A full moon is when the moon is at its peak illumination. And our moon represents our unconscious reactive habit patterns. It's a sort of deep subterranean process that happens within us. It's our emotions. It's sort of the sway. I think of the ocean tides, just this subtle pull. And what spirit just tossed into my mind is, when you've been in the ocean for so long, where like as a kid, you're in there and you get out, you've been in the water for hours just playing. And when you go to sleep at night, there's that subtle rocking sensation of the tide pulling. That's the moon. That's a sort of gravitational pull of rocking, of ebbing and flowing, and that is the moon. So when we have full moons, that means it's at a complete opposition with the sun, because it's at full illumination. That's 180 degrees. This is when emotions are heightened. This is when something reaches a peak culmination, usually a seed that's been planted on the new moon, it's kind of reaching its peak and then is going to be the harvest and closing and then setting new intentions on the new moon. So this new moon is happening in Gemini. So Gemini, let's break Gemini down a little bit. Gemini is an air sign. It is mutable. It has this dualistic quality to it because it is known as the twins. Now, Gemini gets a pretty bad rep, and I'm here to shift that for you guys so you have a deeper understanding of Gemini. Gemini is ruled by the twins, and the twins being Castor and Pollux. And when we actually look at the deeper mythology between those twins, is one is mortal and one is immortal. And when you have that sort of duality existing within your being, if you're somebody that has like a Gemini moon, rising or sun sign or prominent Gemini energy, you have this inner pull. And now the moon being full in this sign is bringing a lot up. It's bringing this sort of back and forth energy, this sort of mental awareness. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury has been retrograde for a hot minute and still will be in its shadow. It will be direct by this time, but moving forward in its post-shadow phase. So we have until December 16th until Mercury is in the clear of its post-shadow. If you don't know what I mean by that, I have a whole Mercury retrograde masterclass that's available if you're interested in learning more about Mercury. Okay. It's almost like I'm experiencing the energy. Like I said, this intuitive drive that's coming up with astrology. It's like my mind is ping-ponging back and forth between different ideas and concepts of how should I explain this to the viewer? How should I explain this to somebody who knows astrology versus somebody who doesn't know astrology? It's sort of like multiple things coming up at the same time. And there's still more present with this full moon. And I want to really hone in on the full moon energy before we even start to explore other things that are present during this time. So just at a surface level, this full moon is bringing up potential repetitive thought patterns, potential mental chaos, lots of communication. So again, Gemini, the way Gemini energy learns is through repetition, whether that's like literal, like repeating things. I always think of, I have some young ones in my life that have a lot of Gemini energy, and the way they learn is literal repetition. So you say something, they say the same thing back. Normally that sort of parroting behavior is pretty common in kids, but the one that I'm thinking about, and if their parent is watching, and I'm keeping everything very neutral, yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Lots of repeating of things. So this full moon is sort of what I feel is coming to the surface is sort of the ripple effects of your emotional / mental chaos. Like it's almost like the repercussion. It's like, oh, this makes sense with the Mercury going direct and sort of getting to witness the repercussions of negative thought patterns or positive thought patterns. It's sort of reaching that culmination of witnessing like, oh, now I see. Now I'm seeing. I can't unsee because we're seeing it. And the way this is showing up in my mind's eye is that of a drop of water and the ripple effect that it has, that it really does. It's sort of what they call the butterfly effect, which makes so much sense for Gemini energy. When I'm talking to clients, I talk about Gemini as the social butterfly. It's sort of flitting back and forth between conversations and having this mental adaptability to adhere to whatever social etiquette is happening around them. I see them at parties moving around and being able to hear and observe all the conversations that are happening at once and not even bat an eye. So there's a lot coming up with this full moon as far as like almost everything. I almost hear like all the noise coming in at once. It's almost like you've been hearing different echoes of maybe somebody said this and it brought in some emotions with that Mercury retrograde of like, ooh, ow. And then over here, and it's sort of like, it's going to build up. Okay. there's a lot of interesting pieces because the sun is in Sagittarius, which is opposing, obviously, this full moon. I keep wanting to say new moon, and I've noticed lately with reading and sharing that I'll swap them. I'm dyslexic, by the way. So the sun is in Sagittarius, and this brings in this sort of freedom quality of like wanting to just run free, to enjoy life. And if you haven't read my Sagittarius season Substack, it'll be linked in my Substack below. But I really coined and brought into the conversational piece that Sagittarius, though very lighthearted and playful and all about freedom, it's because they've earned that, because they've understood the lessons of Scorpio and they know the depth of pain that can come from traversing the underworld, but that life is about how to live with that pain and not make it consume you. So we have this sort of lightness with the sun in Sagittarius that's really like, you know, feeling that freedom and allowing us to move forward. And the full moon in Gemini is really, it's almost like these thought processes, these repeating patterns are catching up to you. And it's almost like Sagittarius has been like, if we just keep our pace going, you know, we can kind of keep them from getting us. It's almost like if you just, I'm seeing you like speed walking. It's like, can I just, if I just increase my pace slightly, will I outrun these sort of patterns, these mental, emotional patterns? It seems very linked with the mental and emotional, because moon and then Gemini, mental, all of these qualities. Now, that is just the start of this full moon in Gemini. What I find very, very interesting is it is squaring the nodes. We have a grand square happening between the sun, the moon, and the north and south node. Now, if you're new to astrology, the north and south node aren't actual planetary bodies or anything. They show us where the eclipses are happening. So we've had eclipses within Virgo and Pisces the last year, and they're going to be shifting signs come 2026, but they're all at 13 degrees. And that's going to be pivotal because we're going to be talking more about the different decans and things like that. Now, guys, they're all at 13 degrees. It really is exact. And if you listen to my new moon in Scorpio video, I really was nerding out about the likelihood of this. And then I saw this chart and I'm like, are you serious? And so why this is so interesting, and to invite you deeper into this conversation. And before I dive deeper, if all of this is sounding cool and you're enjoying it, liking and subscribing to the video really helps. So I'm challenging myself to ask people. So if it gets repetitive, this is for me, not just for you. Okay. So the North Node represents our energetic destiny, where we want to evolve into and grow into, where the South Node is where we're deeply comfortable and rooted in. And collectively, we've been leaning into letting go and letting God, surrendering and like understanding a greater purpose, a greater plan. While the South Node in Virgo is saying, but what about all the plans? What about the routines? What about it making sense on paper? Like, can I fit this into a spreadsheet, right? And spirituality is nothing that you can't sit and try to ask ChatGPT to like explain your dark night of the soul. It might try, but it's not going to be the same thing. So with this square happening, it's all in the mutable signs. It's almost like we're at this pivotal moment of checking in with your mutable energy. Now, you might be like, Izzy, what the hell is mutable energy? That's one of the modalities when we talk about astrology. We have cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Cardinal energy initiates, fixed energy sustains, and mutable energy adapts, right? We're really being shown, how's your adaptability? And when I say that, like feeling into that, do you feel flexible? Do you feel adaptable? I'm thinking of like a young sapling, how it's able to move in the wind and it has sort of a flexibility to it. Mutable energy is this deeper energy of like taking what life throws at you and being able to navigate it at the drop of a hat. Like just being able to change course or change direction or take in information, digest it, and then say it. That's that Gemini. Virgo can be thrown into a classroom full of kids and create order like that. Pisces energy tossed into, emotional storms, and they'll be able to calm it. Sagittarius is thrown onto stage and be able to articulate whatever it is that people need to hear. So they all have this sort of being tossed into something and being able to regulate. So this really is boiling down to, how's your regulation? How's your nervous system? And so this full moon in Gemini, I feel like it's bringing up a lot of mental energy, a lot of nervous system, sort of shaky. What I was seeing is sort of like, our nervous system is like electric. And I just saw the like movement of it. And it's like, how is that feeling? How is that? Are you compromised if somebody asks something of you? Do you lose your center when you have to go out in public and be around people for over 3 hours? Testing. And of course, it's going to be unique for you based off of your rising sign. Okay. Now, what's really, really interesting, and we're going to bring into the conversations, I'm going to throw them up here, are the different tarot card associations. And we're going to get really freaking nerdy with this full moon, because this is how I've been interpreting it as I'm sitting here. So Gemini is air, which means it's ruled by the 9 of Swords. Sagittarius is fire, which means it's ruled by the 9 of Wands. North node in Pisces, 9 of Cups. South node in Virgo, 9 of Pentacles, right? Sorry, really had to think about all of that. So, nines. So we're going to do some math. It's year 2025. What's 5 plus 2? Plus 2. 9. We're in a year 9. I don't jump too deep into numerology, but this was something that was like, are you kidding me? They're all the different 9 suits that happen within tarot. Next year is a year 1. We're starting fresh, and it feels like this is the last full moon of the year. And it really feels like it's just pulling everything up. It's like, hey man, let's end this year with a bang. Let's think about first the moon in Gemini, ruled by the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords, as you can see in the picture, is this woman sat up in bed with these swords and like restless mental energy, right? So it really is this sort of like, what is keeping your thoughts running? What is keeping you up at night? There's going to be an illumination here. There's going to be a deeper insight of like, what is that? Because the moon is full and it's highlighting these things. Now, the sun being in Sagittarius with that 9 of Wands, it's like coming close to completion. It's almost like the sun in Sagittarius is really carrying us through this end of the year, especially with Venus there and Mars there. Like, there is still the gumption to like really continue this path and finish out strong, get to the 10 of Wands, right? Now, North Node in Pisces, 9 of Cups, like, that's emotional satisfaction. That's what we're really wanting to evolve into. And then the South Node of South Node in Virgo. This is the 9 of Pentacles, which is like material success, right? And so like actually letting go of the story around material success and leaning into more emotional satisfaction. And you might be really surprised that your emotional success, emotional satisfaction might actually look very similar to what your ego thought material success thought it was or felt like, right? It's a very interesting evolution that's happening here. This decan is ruled by Mars that the moon is residing in. So if we look at Mars, Mars is in Sagittarius, really honing in that energy of movement forward. I heard like, no matter what comes up on this full moon, still deciding to keep your eyes on your target. continuing forward and continuing to like trailblaze ahead, because whatever is coming up for you, it is going to be the fuel to your fire. The sun is ruled by the moon in this decan, in the second decan. So there's like this kind of back and forth ping pong energy. And I feel like this Mars is really just going to set us free as far as moving the momentum forward, allowing us to, yeah, the word trailblazer keeps coming up in my mind. So, whew, what a awesome full moon. So more nuanced stuff with this is just watching your thoughts, watching what comes up, especially repetitive thoughts. Dreams too, with that Nine of Swords energy. Like, what are the dreams? Like, what's coming up? What's giving you anxiety, realistically? What is compromising your nervous system? That's your invitation inwards. That's the invitation to reflect on these things. Again, with this giant grand cross happening with the nodes and the sun and the moon, we're really looking at, can you be adaptable? Can you roll with the punches? And you're going to get tested. You're going to get tested. Can you roll with the punches? Can you move with it? I heard, can you still honor your heart while listening to the worries of your mind? Because it almost seems like, especially in this day and age of like self-help, it's kind of like, just dismiss the patterns and just blaze forward. And yes, cool, but also like, can you just observe? This would be a beautiful time for meditation. And I know a lot of people have stories around meditation of like, oh, I'm supposed to like quiet my mind. It's just literally observing your thoughts. Write them down. This is what I think about this. This is what's coming up. And as I talk about this, I'm going to really frame the sort of rising sign deep dive that I'm going to jump into from the perspective of like observing your thoughts, right? What is going to be mentally illuminated. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the rising signs. Before you jump, I see some of you guys looking at the freaking description. Pause. Hi guys, like and share, subscribe, all the things. Thanks. Click the bell. All the YouTube lingo stuff, please and thank you. It helps me, and this is what I want to do. So your support means so much. Okay. Give me a second to like reorient the chart that I'm looking at here and jump into sharing it with you guys. So it's going to be only a second for you guys. You know, as an astrologer, you would think that I'm like hyper aware of how this is affecting my chart until I'm like, I just took my epic pen and drew like which part of the chart it's going to be affecting for you guys. And I'm like, oh shit, cool. This will be really cool to sit with. So I'm right there with you guys. Like that's what I do here. I'm walking step by step with you guys, doing my best to articulate what's going on while I'm in it with you too. Just because I do astrology does not subject me from actually observing and going through the different transits. So I'm not immune, unfortunately. I wish it worked that way. That'd be so cool. But okay. Whew. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with our Aries risings. Of course, my sweet, lovely Aries risings. Everything that I shared at the beginning, I know you guys get sick of me saying it, tenfold, right? This is happening in your third house of communication. So you're really witnessing. Ooh, I heard how you got to be careful what you guys are saying or thinking, because you're going to see that reflect in your reality. Your thoughts create your reality, and you're learning this big time. It's going to be like a whole fuck, which is really exciting for you guys, I think. What a beautiful gift, right? Yeah. So this is, again, third house has to do with communication, neighborhood, siblings. This is this kind of close-knit communication, those people that are closest to you. So really, really witnessing, like, how are your thoughts reflecting in that? Or how are people also in your life reflecting? Because I'm thinking of the full moon. It's reflecting the light of the sun. How are your relationships reflecting your thought patterns, where it's almost like a symbiotic, like, because I'm thinking this, now they're acting that way. They're acting the way that I was thinking. And were they really acting that way? Or did I just create that because my mind... Ooh, guys, you're really unpacking the simulation that you're in, which is so amazing. And you're getting to see, can you be adaptable with it? Can you call yourself out for creating chaos? Creating stories in your mind, okay? Just saying. Okay, for my Taurus risings, this is happening in your second house. This has to do with value, worth, the body. So guys, your body be telling you things all the time. It's literally like your like lightning rod of information. You're a Taurus rising. Like, the body is so important. And with Gemini ruling your second house, listen to your body. I heard, listen to your heart when he's calling. Okay. Anyways. Okay. We're back. With the moon being in your second house, you're getting this illumination of really, really recognizing the stories that you have around worth. This sort of repetitive, like, for some of you, it's almost like I'm seeing obsessive thoughts around, like, your body, obsessive thoughts around your money, obsessive thoughts around, like, what you value, like, what you put importance on. And really seeing how that's actually really controlling you. And it's putting you in a mental prison, right? You're like, fuck. You're that Nine of Swords sitting up at night being like, do I have enough money to pay for this? Do I have enough resources to provide for something? Or it could just still... And I felt like somebody's anxiety about that. Hey, I see you. It's okay. It's okay. Just breathe. Those sort of patterns coming up for you of like, oh shit, looking at these bigger pieces, these bigger aspects of what you place value on, and understanding the conditioning of why you did, right? Potentially some of those values didn't come from you. Potentially they came from your parents and your parents' parents and your parents' parents' parents. So really unpacking like this repetitive story around money, around your relationship to your body, your relationship to your values. Okay? Good luck. I'm so sorry. I love you guys. I love you, Taurus risings. All right, Gemini risings. Hey. Let me just smooth out my hair for you. Hi, guys. This is happening in your first house of identity. This is literally the like persona that you present to people. It is the filter in which you observe the world and the world observes you. You are getting a full illumination on the potential false personas that you've been putting out there. And it's probably going to reverberate of like, oh, I wasn't authentic, or oh, I wasn't fully being myself in this scenario. I see potentially this energy of, what is it? Like when you ruminate on like how you showed up at something, like it's like you go to a party, and this is happening after Thanksgiving. So who knows? You could be ruminating on like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that at the dinner. And like, I wasn't really this, and I wasn't really showing up my full self, right? So there's really this illumination happening of these patterns, these mental thought loops around how you present yourself, changing up style maybe, or like shifting completely. Like for some of, I mean, being a Gemini rising, you have this dualistic nature. Only some people know some sides of you and some know others. You have the ability to switch between these different personas, and it's almost like you got those wires crossed potentially, and it's like, ah, shit, I showed the wrong face to the wrong person, and now overthinking. So the invitation with that is, how are you going to start showing up as you? And who is that? You're getting the opportunity to reflect on that deeper sense of identity right now. It's being illuminated. Who are you? I don't know. I'm just a girl on the internet. All right. Love you guys. All right, my Cancer risings. This is happening in your 12th house. wild. This is your subconscious mind. This is literally like your unconscious place that you don't, I can't help it. Anytime I talk about the 12th house, I talk about like the space behind you. It's like you can't see it. It's a felt space. This tends to be our deeper processes, and the moon transiting your 12th house is really bringing an illumination into your patterns within. This is like deep programming, deep rooted patterns of mental thought loops. I can't even fucking talk, and that's probably how you guys feel too, with like observing this. You guys, what the hell? I'm keeping this in there because I'm all about being me, and this is me. I don't really edit my videos because that takes too much fucking time. Anyways, this is what spirit is showing me for you guys, is this deeper integral part of your hardware system. Like they showed me a computer, and they showed me like, it's like the motherboard. And it's like where you process all your data and process things, is like you're being able to look at that. And for you, it might actually be a lot more complex than you once had imagined. And so you're getting to see the inner workings of your inner world and how you process things, how you were taught to process your subconscious thoughts. This is like opening up of the deepest parts of you, realistically. So deep that it's just unconscious, right? So you're getting a glimpse at this. Now, it may come up in dreams. Most likely. It's probably going to be in a process where you're not fully owning it or aware of it. Okay? So, invitation here is just observe, witness. Okay? Love you guys. All right, Leo risings, this is happening in your 11th house. This is all about friendship, community. I think about the internet with the 11th house now. That's kind of something I personally coin. Ooh, left ear just rang. So something's coming in from community, from the internet potentially. I don't know. Maybe you got like paid through like TikTok. I don't know. I just work here. So with the moon illuminating your 11th house, this is really shining a light on observing your friendships, observing how you show up in these bigger communities, in these bigger spaces. I'm almost seeing it's like this observation of the persona that you put out into the world, in these more online places or in your community, in your connections. Like, who are you? And it's almost like, I kept hearing like two-face. Like, you're only showing different parts of yourself to certain people. And we all do that. Obviously, that's human nature. But it's really illuminating how that might be exhausting for you, how that might not work, how it's keeping you up at night, playing these sort of charades with other people of like wanting to fit in and wanting to be liked. My lovely Leo risings, you want to be loved. You do. You want to be seen and loved and adored. And this Gemini full moon is really illuminating where maybe there's inauthentic connections because of a false persona you put out there. And I feel, and this is me just personally saying that it would be more impactful for you to have genuine quality connections versus quantity, right? Quality over quantity, okay? So just really reflect on who are you showing up as in your friendships, in your community, and is that 100% you? And if it's not, bring you to the table. People want all of you, and if they don't, thank goodness they're gone. Okay? Love you guys. Okay. Virgo risings. Me too. Oh, I'm getting so uncomfortable to talk about this because this is so me too, you know? So the full moon is transiting your 10th house. This is about career, vocation, being seen in the public eye. Having work anxieties. I almost feel like what I heard in the background of my mind was like the like it's like an infomercial for like anxiety medication. I don't know which one, but it's like, you know, that voice. That's kind of what was coming through. It's like having work troubles, your coworkers not liking you, having to talk about a raise to your boss. So there is like what's coming up here with the sun, not the sun. Words, guys. Mercury's still retrograde when I'm filming this, so please have grace. With the moon transiting your 10th house, this is bringing in a reflection on who do you want to really show up as in what you do. Who do you want to be in that? What is your authentic expression? Because Gemini energy tends to be very dualistic, having a lot of things, and personal reflection just in the moment right now of what I do. I have a lot of different avenues of stuff. I do a lot of different things. Maybe it's a good time for me to refine that, really figure out what it is that I want to fully commit to, right? And so take that into play to where you're at in your life. Are you fully doing what you want to do? Is there pathways that are only there because of fear of commitment to one specific pathway, right? God forbid we commit to something. There is, because we're so adaptable. We can do anything. We could do any job. We really could. I could do construction. Show me what to do. I'll do it. Easy. But is it what you want to do? So there's this kind of anxious energy of like what you're putting out into the world. Is it authentic? Is it fully you? Is it what you want to be known for? And that's the deeper question. What do you want to be known for? Sit with that. Reflect on that. Observe that. Okay? I love you guys. All right, Libra risings. This is happening in your 9th house. You have the flipped chart, so this is Sagittarius energy combined with Gemini energy. So with the full moon in Gemini illuminating your 9th house, this is really pulling you into reflecting on what are your beliefs? What do you believe in? Is there an actual authentic connection to your higher power? It's very interesting because I almost see it playing out in this way of like, almost seems like a bartering system that you've got with your God, whether that's God or, you know, a deity or your higher self. It's almost like, well, if I do that, then I should get this. If I do this, I should get that. And that's that Gemini dualistic energy of like, let's trade energy. And God's like, I love you unconditionally. But it's your mental thoughts that have gotten you stuck in this idea that it has to be tit for tat. So I invite you guys to explore that deeper energy, understand that dualistic nature, understand the mental thought loops that are coming up that are creating anxiety when you could just trust your belief systems. And if you don't have one, observe that. Observe the patterns. Watch it, witness it, okay? All right, Scorpio risings. This is happening in your 8th house. Very interesting energy. Whoo, you guys are, I feel for you guys. You guys are going through it, to put it simply. And I feel bad because I feel like I've been saying that to you guys for the last like 3 months. But you are. And I love you guys. This is fully this energy of like, your mind is a fucking prison. But it's a prison you created. You have the key. And, okay, I'm going to be more gentle now because I feel like that was really harsh. There is truly this energy of really observing your mind and how your thoughts are really creating your reality, of this sort of anxiety where it's rippling out from your mind because you get stuck up there. Because your underworld is actually very much in the mental energy, this mental prison. It's very interesting. I saw like a bird cage around your head, and it's like, what if you could, I don't want to be caged. There's sort of this energy of setting yourself free, right? But that's also scary too, because within the cage, you know what the cage looks like. You know how it feels. It's familiar. And on the outside of the cage is freedom. Freedom is unknown, and it's also just as scary. And so you're really juggling the reality of, fuck, what do I want? Either pathway is going to be intense, no matter what, but it's up to you to choose the intensity. And this is sort of that thing that you're wrestling with and feeling into during this time, during this full moon. Okay. I'm giving you guys a big hug. Give yourself a little squeeze. I love you guys, truly. Like, comment my Scorpio risings. Give me a little vibe check of how it's going for ya. All right, Sag rising. It's happening in your 7th house. This is relationships. Ooh, just really contemplating that energy of this full moon happening there. This is giving a lot of mirroring energy. If you're in partnership or not in partnership, it's sort of that recognition of like mirroring energy where you may be observing your own anxieties outside of yourself from people around you, whether it's in the dating pool where maybe it's a fear of not finding somebody and then you see other people in that fear mindset. Or if you're in partnership, there can be that potential quality of like them just being really worried and very in their head, and you're watching it and you're like, wait, shit, me too. I'm in my head. So there's a lot of mirroring happening with this full moon. You're getting this illumination into your relationships. You're getting to witness truly like, where are your fears in partnership? Where is that fear of dissolving, of like allowing yourself to be in partnership fully? Commit. I know you guys are Sag risings. God, commitment? What? No way. Scary. And so there's sort of this crux coming up right now, especially, I mean, all this energy is very intense for mutable signs in general. There's sort of this position of like, what do I do? How do I find balance within partnership? Whether you're in partnership or not partnership. Oh my God. Hi, my sweet friend that's a Sag rising that's watching this. I literally just thought of you now in this moment. So, interesting. So there's definitely this sort of feeling of like, it's 3:33 on the clock too. I feel called to say that. There's sort of this feeling of like discerning, like boundaries, discerning what you desire. And it's all mental energy. It's all in the mind. It's really observing like all these patterns, all these stories about relationships, all these ways of operating in them, and what society says should be is coming up, whether you're in partnership or not in partnership or dating. Like, it's all coming up. The stories, the anxieties, the worries about what is partnership? What does it look like? I want freedom, but I crave connection, especially that deep mental, magical, cerebral connection of like just psychic energy. It feels like telepathy, like just talking, not even having to say anything, but just like know what each other's thinking. Like that's what Sag risings really want in relationship. Sorry, I called you guys out, but you know, this is very, very present. Okay. So sit with that. Sit with all the thoughts that come up with relationships right now. Okay. I love you guys. Capricorn risings. This is happening in your 6th house of routine, work, service. This is really having you. Oh God. I just saw like the little dog fire meme where he's sitting and he's like, it's fine. And that's kind of like your home environment or your day-to-day routine where it's like, I have no semblance of what the hell is going on at any second. It's like everything's just changing and moving, and it's almost like every day has been different. And it's like, how do I find a sense of routine? How do I find a sense of balance? And there's a lot of worry of like, how do I create this routine and security for myself so I can start regulating my nervous system, so I can start finding that balance within myself. But right now, the important thing is to talk about it for you guys. With this being your 6th house, which is also ruled by Mercury, and then it being Gemini, talk about it. Talk about the imbalances. Talk about your fears, your anxieties of not having things look perfect, of not having a structure, of not, and even if you're in that structure, because it feels like there's some of you in the flip side where it's like, it's so fucking rigid that there's no freedom, that there's no sort of like creativity or breath, it's so constricting that it's almost like a friend calls you and says like, hey, like, we're going to go do pottery on this day. Do you want to come? And you're like, oh, but that's during my time where I plan to do this. So I can't. Yes, you can. It's okay. It's okay to shift things around. And so really wrestling with the mental processes that are coming up during this time of your structure, of routine, of that sort of sense of boundaries, it feels like for you guys. Okay. Aquarius risings. Bear with me. My voice is getting shaky as I'm diving deeper. So this is happening in your 5th house of creativity, of joy, of play, of dating. So this is really having you guys just create the art just for fun. It's almost like I'm seeing like an artist at the easel just sitting and being like, it has to be the right thing. Like I can't even do a brush stroke because it's got to be right. It's got to come out the right way. And the fear of making a mistake when it comes to creating. That's how creation is. It's not perfect. And that's what makes it unique. And it's making me think of just like earth in general, of like its imperfections, but in its imperfections is its beauty. Like not every flower is the same. Not every human's the same. Not every animal's the same. And so there's really, you're wrestling big time with like, how do I have fun? When it's like, I want to create, but I want it to be good and I want it to be right. And, oh yeah, the way I'm, just go dance, actually. That would be probably really, really good for your nervous system. Like literally just dancing, moving it, shaking this energy up, and then creating, and then going to do the thing. It's like you need to break the mental thoughts that are coming up with this time. But the moon's really illuminating that you still have stories around what it means to create, what it means to date, right? Dating is the 5th house energy of like flirting, of having fun, of pleasure, right? What does your pleasure practice look like? And is there still like crunchy bits that want to break free and move and change? Okay. Love you guys. Last but not least, my Pisces risings. This is happening in your 4th house of home, family, root systems. Ooh. Whew. My heart goes out to you right now. With this full moon illuminating your 4th house, it's really giving you a glimpse into the actual like deep root system of what your home was built off of and where you may have repeated this pattern of like building on a shaky, faulty foundation. And you're really getting the opportunity to observe that, to observe maybe it's not sustainable. Maybe it's not going to actually reap the rewards or fruits that you thought it was, but it actually reaped the rewards of things that you actually needed, right? So it's like this big observation of what you were taught home was and what family was and what you're doing. It might be different. And additionally, there's like this deeper thought process that comes in of like, is what's happening up in your mind of what home and family is it actually matching your reality? Is it actually like, you've got to start saying, like if you're saying the things, you got to do the things. That's that Mars and Sagittarius energy coming through for you guys big time. Like do the things. Like if you say you're going to do it, do it. Don't just say it, just do it. Big reflections on how you want to build things for you and your family, if you have a family, or yourself, like that home situation, how to build that going forward, okay? Dogs are barking. It's time for the video to end. Thank you guys so much. If you've made it to the end of the video, so much love, so much gratitude for you all. These videos keep getting longer and longer, and it's just because I'm deep in the channeling of the astrology and talking about it, and it's my deepest passion. It's what I love doing. And thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing this video with your friends and family. Send it to your parents for Christmas. Little gift. Here you go. Figure out your rising sign, mom and dad. Be a fun little gift. Speaking of gifts, I actually have created a product in my shop where you can gift a reading to a loved one. So if that's something you do want to gift, wouldn't that be so fun? Here, guys. And then I get to sit with them, guys. I'll sit with them and I'll tell them all the things, okay? Okay. I love you guys so much.